Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be painting these loose, fun fireworks. If you're from the States, you know that this week is Independence Day, so I figured it was the perfect time to learn. And don't worry, these are super easy and beginner friendly, so let's get right into it. For supplies, you're going to need watercolor paper. I'm using 140 pound cold press. You can use any brand that you want. I will link the one below that I am using. Next up, we have drawing gum or masking fluid. If you don't have this, you can use a white crayon or a wax stick, anything that's going to repel the water. Now I have a brush that I don't care about. No matter how much I clean the brush, the masking fluid ruins bristles, so I always use a brush that I'm okay with throwing out, and I never use one of my quality brushes when using masking fluid. Next up, we're going to be using a flat brush. This is going to be so we can wash the water on the paper because we are doing a wet into wet method. Then I'm going to use a larger round brush and then a smaller round brush and maybe one in between. We are doing a wet into wet, like I said, so it's going to be more loose and less detailed, so we really don't need detail brushes. Of course, we're going to need some water, and then I'm going to be using this Mungyo watercolor palette. This is one of my favorite palettes. It has so many beautiful colors in it, and it has the mixing tin right there with it. So I always reach for this one. It's great for beginners and seasoned artists. I'm actually going to tape down my paper so that it doesn't lift when I wet the entire page. You don't have to do this, but I find in my experience, no matter what paper I use, it usually does lift up in the center when I am fully putting water on the entire page. So let's get into it. I have this spritzer. If you don't have this, that is completely fine. I like to use this botanical mister because it's a very fine mist, and I just spray it on the center of my page. If you don't have this, again, you can just use water in your jar and just same way, you're just going to spread it on the page. You don't want to oversaturate it, just want it to have like a slight shine. And then I'm going to mix up any color that is on my pan right now. I think I'm going to go with some purples, pinks, orange. If you want, you can do red, white, and blue. You can do whatever you like, but we're just gonna dab that on the wet paper, and we're just gonna let the watercolor do its thing. So it's gonna spread out, and then you can add some more water to maybe blend it. I'm gonna reach into these colors over here, like a nice purple shade, and just blend that out and blot it out. And I'm sort of mapping where I might put my fireworks. I just have to reach for this pink, this neon pink. I'm just going to put that right there and sort of spread it. This is the first layer. This one is a very light wash. The purpose of this wash is so that once we put our fireworks on top with masking fluid and it's dry, we can lift it, and then we're going to be able to see the layer below it, which would be this layer. So it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just kind of putting down a nice layer and blending colors that we like so that you can see them underneath. And I like to use colors that will blend with each other next to each other. So if I'm going to use a blue and put it next to a pink, it might blend to create a purple. So I try not to use colors that next to each other, they will blend and make muddy colors. And I'm just going to add in some yellow over here. So the yellow will mix a little with the pink and create maybe an orange color. And then I just really want some like depth over here. I want some like fun colors popping, and see how I mix the blue with the orange, that kind of muddy color. So I'm not too worried about it because I know I'm going to cover that with, I'm thinking I want to do like a midnight blue, not so much a black, because this is obviously going to be the night sky. So I can go over that later when we layer on the second time. But yeah, just going to keep doing this. Once you're happy with it and it's completely dry, then you can go into your drawing gum, and this is where we're going to actually draw on our fireworks. So I'm going in with that brush that I don't care about, and we're just going to start creating just lines. And I think I'm going to start by pulling them out to like an imaginary center there, out like exploding almost. And feel free to mark that center if it's easier, and then maybe pull from that center. Masking fluid is not so easy to work with all the time, so if you do want more fine lines, they do sell the pens that you can draw with the pen to make really fine lines. But for me, I'm doing very loose interpretation, fun, go with the flow. We're just gonna pull those out until I'm happy with the size and the shape of it overall. Don't really have too much of a plan as for where I'm laying everything out. I think one in this nice bright or yellow center would be really cool. Like a smaller one next to the bigger one. I don't want to take up the entire page with fireworks. I do want there to be some space around, some dramatic like night sky space. Now I'm just going to play with maybe just putting in a center part and then pulling from that. Because you don't want to use too much and you don't want to use too little, so you got to kind of find a happy medium. And they look kind of like spiders when you first start. And again, if you don't like this shape, feel free to make any kind of shapes that your mind is telling you to make. Like I think I want to do some splatter so that when I go over this and I pick it up later, it will be like almost like stars or like just like little shooting parts of the firework. Just gonna keep putting in shapes until I'm happy. One in this purple area. And more splatter. I'm gonna just speed this up. So I think I'm gonna do maybe like a few more. Some shooting ones over here from the bottom. Some little dots at the ends of the fireworks. I know there's all different types, but... And then once this is like completely dry, then we're gonna go on to the second layer, but I'm really playing with that splatter there. It's so much fun. Am I overdoing it? See how this masking fluid's stuck in that brush? That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, let it dry completely. And then once it is dried to the touch, you can start putting on that second layer. And this is where you can go in and like really put in some drama. So I'm really dropping that pink in. And again, this isn't very loose. We're not going for like any kind of perfection here. So I'm just gonna let them bleed together, and then I'm gonna softly blend the edges out if I see fit, so there's no hard lines. I really love the way that purple and orange look next to each other, and I just absolutely love purple, so I'm going in with the purple, and I think it will look really nice with this midnight blue. And I really don't have a plan in mind, I'm just going with it. Again, you can totally plan this out to be red, white, and blue, any colors that you please. I'm going to put a little bit more drama in this yellow over here, and add a little bit more of a balancing yellow on the other side. And now I'm putting in that really dark midnight blue just to see how that's gonna look, and it's really nice. So you can sort of see where I did the speckles, those little spots. When they lift up, they're gonna look so cool. And I'm not going straight into like a black, I'm mixing like a Prussian blue with a black. So I never really do straight up black. But I probably will go over this with another layer of a darker color, but I'm just tapping and letting my brush sort of dance. I'm gonna put the blue right over these because I think they will be really cool, like shooting up, like almost like a white, and then be able to go over that after. And if you want, you could use your flat brush to blend out. Adding that red right next to that purple is so pretty. I just love the way that the contrast looks. And this is just super dramatic right here. Love that. The contrast of that on the corners so that it's almost like showcasing the center fireworks. That's what's in my mind. You see I'm just dabbing that on and then making it a little darker around the spots that I want it to really be concentrated at. I'm just gonna speed this up, dropping in more purple. I love purple. Now once that's completely dry, then you can start to peel up the masking fluid. So you can see, I'm just using my finger. They do make a tool for this. I don't own it, but it seems like it's kind of pulling up the color underneath too a little bit. That wasn't my intention, but we'll see. You can slightly see it. You can't really see it on camera. Some spots it held, but we can always go over that with another color if we want. But I kind of like the white. I really love the contrast, and it's so satisfying to peel off the masking fluid, to be honest. And then you could use a brush to brush all those little things away. I'm just really impatient, so I'm just using my finger and swiping it away with my hands. But it's super satisfying. See those little dots coming up? That's what I really liked. So it's a very very light layer underneath, and then I'm gonna fill in some spots with some yellow. I kind of really like the way the white looks, so I'm just gonna leave it. As you can see, like that yellow popping through and the pink popping through. I'm just gonna kind of detail in if I want any kind of shapes to be more defined. And you could use your watercolor for this. I'm gonna add a little bit of purple in that center there. And then of course, I love to add splatter. It's just so fun. So now we could be done, or you can go back in with some gouache, or I'm using these neon acrylic inks, and I'm just gonna add some more details in there just because I have them, and I think that these would look really fun with the colors that I've chosen. And again, you can use gouache, you can use a little bit of like watercolor ink, whatever you have, but I'm gonna use this white, and I'm just gonna use this smaller brush, and let's go into that white there. I'm just gonna do some dramatic sort of splatters in there. I just want a little bit more drama with these. They're a little bit more opaque. And then I want to use that beautiful neon pink and do some splatters with that. I just tap that brush. You see all that right there. It's really nice. And then some neon yellow. I think if I mix this with white, it will be super bright in your eyes. That's what I want. Again, I'm gonna splatter. Do I have enough splatter yet? But it really does look so pretty. And then I'm gonna go in and just define where I want it to be a little bit more defined. And this is where I'm using that smaller detail brush. Again, this is like an extra step you don't need to do, but it just looks so cool. And you can see the blue from the first layer underneath, and then this on top. Just really nice. Some vibrant, I don't even know what you call these. Just sparks. And yeah, I'm just gonna be finished. Let's call this one done, if I can. Never know when to stop. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned something new and that you find it fun and exciting. If you enjoyed this tutorial, I would appreciate it so much if you would give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.